Okay, so SoftPOS, let's start with SoftPOS and a short definition. What is SoftPOS? Well, it's a new payment solution, and it allows to take payment on Android devices, which are not traditional PCI certified payment terminals, right? On PCI certified terminals, the security is made is made by the terminal itself. It's managed through the hardware and the software of the terminal, and it's linked to a specific security environment. With SoftPOS, the security is not managed in the terminal, it is managed online. And it does not rely on the terminal specific security features, which are PCI certified. So SoftPOS can take an EMV transaction from an EMV card or even emulation of the EMV card on a wallet. But you have to understand that SoftPOS solutions are certified. I mean, the terminal is not certified, but the application and the security online is certified. It's certified by PCI, it's certified by Visa, it's certified by MasterCard. So SoftPOS is as secured as a solution based or traditional solution based on PCI terminals. So you can use SoftPOS on any Android device, smartphones, but also Android business devices with a lot of different form factors. We'll get back to that. Okay, so why is SoftPOS such a hot topic those days? Well, the first thing is that Visa and MasterCard, they are always pushing for getting more transactions, and they want to be able to take transactions from more and more devices, and they want to go over the installed base of PCI certified devices, and they want to basically transform any device into a device able to take transactions. The other interest, or what is pushing SoftPOS, is that we all know SoftPOS Solutions. It's been very used for mobile merchants and micro merchants. But actually, the experience of SoftPOS for a lot of users was not very convincing. There were a lot of connectivity issues. There were still 2 devices to use. There was some kind of complexity in the experience and in the implementation, and the costs were usually quite high. So initially, the drive was to use smartphones, but we realized that Android is actually on a lot of additional devices, and particularly business devices. So this also, the ability of using SoftPOS on business devices increases also the interest for SoftPOS. We must know that PCI certified traditional terminals and all the payment environment around it is quite complex. The solution is complex, it's specific, the environment and I would say all the application lifecycle is quite complex as well. There's a lot of certifications to get. So there was the other interest in SoftPOS is the how much it can simplify all this. Another important thing is that well, particularly with COVID in the last 2 years, more and more customers have paid with contactless, which means that contactless is completely accepted now by the consumer as a normal way to pay. And also the latest Android platforms have increased their level of security, and now the security on Android devices is really good through some technologies like TEE or SafetyNet. So all those things make a lot of interest into SoftPOS. And I may have forgotten in the definition to say that, yeah, SoftPOS is a contactless based transaction technology. Okay, so how a SoftPOS solution look like? Well, it's based on 3 things: an app on a mobile device, or an app on an Android device, a security server, and a payment gateway. So first, let's look what we have in the application. So we have the payment kernels, what makes the transaction security and the transaction flow. We have the business logic on the top of that. So transaction flow, connection to gateways, connection to servers, to acquire messaging between the card and the acquirer. Obviously, a user interface, and also, and you see that at the bottom, what we call the online security. And this online security part of the application will talk to the online security server, which I call here a security backend, but usually it is called a attestation server. This will allow to determine if the mobile device, the device is safe. It hasn't been hacked. No parameter changes, no installation of application which could harm the security of the device. So basically, the payment will be initiated on the application. The integrity of the device will be checked through the security backend. So once we have established that the device is secure, then the transaction will proceed through the payment gateway as it would with a traditional terminal. The interest of this payment app and online security is that the application can be made available from an app store like Google Play or SUNMI App Store. So getting the payment application made is extremely simple. You just have to download the application and obviously board yourself as a merchant to get the transactions. Yeah. Okay, so regarding the use cases, I talked about MPOS, which was a micro merchant, mostly micro merchant, and some mobile merchants. So we are somehow in the same field with that. We can see this SoftPOS really interesting for micro merchant, food trucks, people on the move who want to carry a payment ability to take cards while they are moving. Everything about transportation and taxi, for example, is it's a very good solution for taxi. But we can also see a lot of interest for retail, including tier 1 retail, big retailer, who find here a very easy way to implement mobile sales or sales on the shop floor as an addition to their sales and multi-lane or classic checkout. So the benefits for the merchants, they will be able to take payments with a tool, which is not only a payment device. Because it can be a different type of device, they will have access to a lot of different form factors, and depending on the use case, do they need something rugged? Do they need something small? Do they need something with a printer? They will have access to a lot of different form factors. The ease, I talked about the ease of downloading the application and setting up their device as a payment device. There's also, and we'll probably get back to that, the boarding of the merchant, how to get all the information needed for being able to take a payment is actually quite easy. A few information to fill in a web page and you're done, which is a big advantage compared to I would say traditional payment solutions. And the fact that because of the different form factor, because of the ease of use, the SoftPOS applies to a lot of different type of activities. What we see in the whole payment world is that actually well, in the past, you had your business application and business device, point of sale, mobile device on one side, and on the other side, you have your payment device. And the fact that payment devices were with proprietary OS, with all the security linked to PCI, made that the payment application and the business application were really two things separate. what we see now is a need from the market to converge the business application and the payment application. And here, SoftPOS can really make a difference. It can make a difference for different actors in the market. So for ISVs, I mean, what I call ISVs is integrated solution vendors, people who are creating applications and selling their application to merchants, whether they sell the hardware or don't sell the hardware. Well, at the end of the day, they sell a point of sale or a business application. So those people will have a very easy integration of payment. And all the partners we work with on SoftPOS, and there's a number of them, they all provide high-level APIs to integrate directly the payment with the business application. So as a business application developer, I will integrate the payments through those high-level APIs. And at the end of the day, for the merchant and for the consumer, the experience would be the same as you have on e-commerce, right? You buy something on the website, then you go to pay, then you get into a payment page, which well, sometimes has the same look and feel, but you can see that it's a payment page. You make your payment transaction, then it goes back to the business application or to the e-commerce web page. So with those high-level APIs for payment integration, you will be able to get, well, from the ISV, ease of integration, and for the merchant and consumer, a very fluid experience for payment. The other big advantage is that with SoftPOS, the application, the SoftPOS solution is already certified, which means that you don't have any additional certification effort, any additional certification costs to implement payment, which can make a big change in terms of, well, cost itself, but also the time to market. And so finally, for the ISVs, it's SoftPOS allows to propose payment much simpler and faster than they would do with traditional payment solutions. If we look at distributors, people who are mostly ordering, shipping hardware to resellers or to big customers, this will create for them the opportunity to get into the payment market. I mean, payment market is quite big. I mean, if you consider the number of payment devices installed in Europe, it's probably more than 10, 12 million, right? So, and this was today not open for distributors. With SoftPOS, they can start distributing products which are not PCI certified, which are not in the payment world, and start proposing also some payment devices to their customers. It will also, for the distributors who want to start bundling hardware with applications with payment, it allows them to do that as well. And obviously, for the ones who already have a good Android portfolio, it would bring additional value to their new Android portfolio. Last actor, but not least, the fintechs. I mean, the fintechs, those are those companies who have created a payment gateway, who have created payment solutions, who are payment solution providers. But a lot of them may have some difficulties to go to market, to be able to reach the final customer, to reach the merchant. So SoftPOS, because of the ease of boarding and the ease of implementation, will allow them to get a better go-to-market, particularly because of the easiness of implementation by distributors and ISVs. They will be able to offer their solution on more devices. And for the ones who already have an e-commerce payment gateway or e-commerce payment offer, this will allow them to make very easy move to providing omni-channel offer, meaning e-commerce and payment online and payment on point of sale at the same time, which was very complicated with traditional PCI certified devices. So let's put it this way: SoftPOS looks absolutely ideal. right? It's just fantastic. It should be, but it's, I mean, there are pros, which we have already talked about, but there are also cons. So the pros: variety of hardware, merchant boarding, ease of use, no specific hardware for payment, the security, which is the same as, which is PCI certified, so the same level of security as traditional payment, and the fact that it uses standard technologies, all that are big pros, right? If we look at the cons, because nothing's ideal, the first one is the contactless cap. I mean, in most countries today, there's a limitation on contactless payment, which is $50, well, $50, 50 euro, 50 pound, which today could be a limitation. But in 2022, it would be this limitation will be completely resolved, because PCI, Visa and MasterCard are bringing this MPOC specification, which will allow to develop and certify PIN entry on the devices, on Android devices. This already exists. I've seen it. It's not yet. I mean, it's more as a test or limited. In 2022, it will be all certified, all certifiable. So this con is going away. The other con we can find on this SoftPOS is that it does not necessarily support all the local schemes. I mean, you can see in France, CB, Girocard in Germany, and so there are local schemes which are built on actually low-cost transactions or lower-cost transactions. A lot of SoftPOS solutions today support only Visa, MasterCard, so they don't have access to those schemes. Most of the cards are co-branded, so it's not a big threat for merchants not to be able to take cards, but I mean, that's still a limitation. There are also some additional applications in some countries which may not be supported either by SoftPOS. So the scope of the payment application coverage and payment scheme coverage may be smaller in SoftPOS than in traditional payment. Another issue with SoftPOS is that it relies on online security. So what happens if you lose network? Well, you don't have any security. Can you do a transaction? Not sure. I discussed with a few partners on SoftPOS, and indeed, the offline question is real. If you lose network, you may lose your ability to take payment, and that's an issue. Another problem we can find is use of SoftPOS on smartphones. I mean, for 25 years, people are paying on payment terminals, which look like payment terminals, which look like professional devices. We have seen studies and consumer behaviors in which people are actually reluctant to pay on a smartphone they don't know, which look like a consumer device, which is not identified as a business device. So that could be also a limitation for SoftPOS use on smartphone, which could be actually I forgot the word in English, which actually can be solved with having business devices providing SoftPOS. Another issue is the reader position and the performance of the reader. I mean, it's contactless based, so you have to tap the card. If the antenna does not have the right performance, the experience could be bad. Again, on smartphone, it's difficult to know where is the antenna at the back of the smartphone. It could be anywhere. So we could have limitations in there in the fluidity of the experience, because you have to have good performance on the antenna and locate correctly the antenna. But I think the biggest issue that we have to think about with SoftPOS is the transaction cost. What is the transaction fee? I mean, we know that the lowest transaction fee is with traditional payments. We know that MPOS solutions, and I won't mention anyone, but we know that some MPOS solutions provider charge more than 2% per transaction, which is a huge cost for the merchant. So a big issue with SoftPOS will be what is the level of cost of the transaction and how will it compare with traditional payment solutions. Okay, so let's talk about SUNMI now a little bit. What SUNMI can do? So you may know SUNMI. SUNMI, we are a leading provider of Android devices for business, right? We see this move to Android for business. We've seen that in the rugged PDA, rugged handheld computer a few years ago. It's going also on the desktop POS, going on kiosk. It's going on I would say traditional payment devices on mobility. So there is an Android wave. I think that the digitization wave we had with COVID and omni-channel wave we had with COVID has actually accelerated the need for digitization, therefore the need for Android device. And I would say that SUNMI is a reference manufacturer and supplier of Android-based solution for business. So what is the, well, I mean, SUNMI is not only a manufacturer, right? We have built an entire ecosystem. So it's based on devices and different family of devices and type of devices, all running Android. We have created our development environment with SUNMI OS, which is an enhanced version of Android, so fully 100% compatible with Android application, with additional features that we provide to ease the development of business solutions. And we provide also all the tools to manage the product throughout their life cycle. And on the top of that, we have created an app store. And this app store is a place where people can exchange. I mean, where we create connection between applications, we create a connection between developers and solution providers. At the end of the day, our goal, and this is why we are so interested in SoftPOS, because we think that we have the platform that will allow the fintechs creating payment solutions, ISVs who are creating business solutions for merchants and other businesses and distributors to exchange, to create solutions together on SUNMI platform. And so that we can all create value out of this SUNMI platform and infrastructure. Regarding terminals, we have a big range of terminals. A lot of our terminals are actually featuring an NFC antenna and an NFC chip. So we have all our new mobile devices, V2S, its big brother with 80mm printer, V2S Plus, L2H and L2KS, our new rugged PDAs. All those are GMS certified. So for all the SoftPOS solution leveraging safety net as the security solution, those products are completely eligible. There are also additional SoftPOS solution which do not leverage safety net, therefore do not require GMS certification. And then this can we can expand our offer to products like M2 Max, our 10-inch professional tablet, or even D2 Mini, which is our compact desktop solution. Yeah, good on time. So conclusion. It's the end. It's the end for you. SoftPOS really has the potential to become a major payment alternative to traditional payment. I'm sure we'll have the question, but will it replace traditional payments? My view is that no, it will not replace traditional payments because there's a lot of legacy, there's a lot of integration already made, there's a lot of still qualities and abilities in the traditional payment. So in my point of view, it will supplement the traditional payment. It will be additional. It will allow more opportunities. It may be a threat for MPOS because it's probably more I mean, if we talk about replacement, it really has the potential to replace MPOS, but I think it's not going to massively impact the traditional payment. But because it's so interesting for ISVs and fintechs, who, for example, fintechs who already have a gateway, I think it's going to take a serious share in the payment market, extension. We as SUNMI provide the platform and the solutions. So bear in mind that if you are interested in this convergence between the business application and the payment, SUNMI provides everything you would need to make this implementation. We are also able to create interactions. We have SoftPOS partners, we have distributors, we have solution providers. So we can create this connection, work together, create projects to bring SoftPOS to the market. Yeah, and as I said, we have partners. So get to us, and we will see based on the geography, based on your needs, based on what type of solution you want. I'm sure that we will find the right partner for your project. Okay, time to thank you. Just a few information about the contact, so you can note this contact. Sacha Mollier, who is in charge of marketing for SUNMI, myself. And if you want to contact directly, have contact directly with sales, you can you have the generic email for sales. Right. Thank you for listening. It's now the time for Q&A. Okay, I see the comments. So there's a Q&R. There's a Q&R space. I will start with a question from Joachim. When will you have an NFC reader in your T2S or similar hardware available for physical POS, not only the handheld devices? That's a great question. We are working on it. My understanding of the NFC technology is that the antenna needs to be integrated in the device. So you can't have an additional external antenna, which is today an issue for our T2S. It is not for our D2S Mini. We are working on a new product called T3, which will feature an NFC antenna integrated and which will be able to leverage SoftPOS. A question from a spectator anonyme, which means Mr. Nobody. Is there a device that can work with a SoftPOS solution and is able to accept chip and PIN transaction, not only contactless? Okay. I would say that what you want to accept here is an EMV transaction, and you can have EMV transaction through contactless. As I explained earlier, you can enter your PIN if the amount is above the contactless cap. So I would say that having a chip reader on that kind of device does not make a lot of sense. I think that probably 99.9% of the cards currently emitted have contactless, so it makes the chip reader on a product running SoftPOS not very useful. Irfan, sorry. What about CPOC certifications? Okay. I'm not a super specialist of certification. What I understand is that the SoftPOS payment solution providers, they can have their solution certified by PCI. So they present their application, their online security solution, and then PCI certifies. There are also certification from Visa and MasterCard separately. So you can go actually to the PCI site and the Visa and MasterCard website to see what are the tap on phone. The actual certification is called tap on phone. What are the certified tap on phone solutions? Steve Archer asks, Are SUNMI going to provide a SoftPOS app through the SUNMI app library? For the time being, we don't intend to provide a payment SoftPOS ourselves. What we intend is to have all our partners providing this SoftPOS application being available on our SUNMI App Store. Another question from Steve Archer: is there a requirement for minimum Android version? Great question. So there is a requirement on Android, so it should be Android 8 and above for solutions not leveraging. I mean, it's either Android 8 and above and GMS or GMS certification. As I explained, GMS certification is required for all solutions requiring using safety net, and if it's a solution not using safety net, everything above Android 8 is eligible in terms of security for SoftPOS. Martin Gross asks, is the solution also available on non-GMS SUNMI devices such as L2S? Yes, the answer is yes. L2S is not GMS certified, so any solution, any SoftPOS solution not leveraging safety net, and there are some of them, and we can privately indicate which they are, can leverage L2S to make SoftPOS solutions. Okay, Steve Archer, what does the future hold for P-series devices with the potential success of SoftPOS? Well, good question. As I explained, I don't believe that SoftPOS will replace traditional payment. I think that it will be an additional solution. And for example, in retail, when we talk about retailers who want to use SoftPOS, they don't say that they will use SoftPOS everywhere. They will use SoftPOS in their mobile use cases, but they will keep traditional PCI terminals in their checkout, right? So I think that it's not going to impact. It's not really going to impact P-series. P-series are people who are still working with traditional payment, and you can see a lot of solution providers who want to stay with PCI certified devices. So I think that the impact will be limited. And if you want reassurance, we are developing new P-series products, and you will see the launches in the year of new super attractive P-series products. Conrad asks, do you provide full payment application or just a middleware or modules we can use with our own payment application that we developed in-house? Okay, well, we provide a platform. I mean, we provide an Android platform. Your payment application should run on, I would say, a standard Android platform. We provide in SUNMI OS some additional firmware or software, for example, managing the printing, managing the scanning, managing the comms. But as far as I understand, a SoftPOS solution is an Android app running on an Android platform. Okay, another question from Martin. Ooh, there are some more questions. Another question from Martin. If we are looking to get into the payment ecosystem with SUNMI devices, should we still bother with SUNMI TMS and corresponding devices, or just focus on SoftPOS? Well, it will depend on your customers, really. It will depend on the implementation. We can take this discussion private, Martin. Let's discuss what is interesting for. I mean, what use case is good for SoftPOS? What use case is good for traditional payment devices? Bear in mind the last limitation I mentioned for SoftPOS. As far as I understand today, the transaction fee on SoftPOS will be higher than traditional payment, and this probably will make the difference between using a traditional payment device and a SoftPOS device. Damien, what difference between TEE safety net and white box, and can we select one over the others? I think that they are complementary technologies. So be careful. I'm a marketing guy, so I'm not getting into the technical devices. I think secure element allows to store the keys. Safety net is allows to check the integrity of the device, and white box is another alternative for storing the keys. So I think that those different modules, basically you build your security solution with those different technologies or other technologies. Jeffrey asks, as the CPOC is a solution-based certification which focus on the security by different software modules, the attestation and monitoring, the app and the kernel. What's SUNMI take on that? Like how to enable fintech solution provider to integrate their payment gateway in the SoftPOS with SUNMI hardware. So as I mentioned, the SoftPOS solution is an Android app. Like, I mean, it's not Angry Birds, right? But it's an Android application. We provide the Android platform with all the Android services that will allow you to power your Android application. The main question, I think, is, do we provide the online security? The answer is no, not yet. We may work on that. We may provide this module as part of SUNMI OS, saying, hey, we have packaged this in our platform. For the time being, we leave that to SoftPOS solution providers. Do we provide kernel? The answer is no, but we could, because we have all the EMV kernels and PayPass and PayWave and all the different payment kernels available in our payment platform, which is specific. So we could extract those kernels and provide the kernels. So that's a possibility. We can discuss that offline. We have kernels. For the time being, our, I would say, classic devices do not provide kernels natively, but why not? We could. Another question: what about the transaction limit with this solution? So I answered to that already. With contactless, you have a transaction cap, so you can't go over. I mean, €50 here in France, probably £50 in the UK, and I don't know in the US, to be honest, if it's still $50. So there's a cap, but already there are solutions to enter PIN to go when the amount is above 50 euros. You can type your PIN. My understanding is that those solutions are still under derogation of certification by PCI, Visa, and MasterCard. But as I mentioned earlier, during the year, we should be in a position to certify the PIN online and the entry of PIN on SoftPOS solution and get it fully certified. That's not the end of the question. I just had a new question from Guru. It will support for UPI transaction. Wi-Fi card is available. Sorry, I don't understand. I'm not sure I understand the question. I don't know, to be honest, which SoftPOS applications support Union Pay. If it was the question. That's something I don't know. It's something we should discuss with our SoftPOS partners. And Wi-Fi card, I'm not exactly sure what it is. So sorry, I can't really answer to this one. I have other questions on the discussion. So let me check. Ooh, there's a lot of them. Okay, and Craig said about Union Pay that it's just a kernel and it can be implemented. I mean, it can be done in the SoftPOS, provided you have the UPI kernel. Is there a SUNMI Android bed styled device? Not sure I understand that. With the dock, yeah, V2S, for example, is exactly this. I mean, I showed V2S. Let me go back to this. I mean, if you if you are questioning about pin entry devices, I mean, those devices, basically, it looks like a payment device. I mean, it doesn't have the chip card reader. It has the contactless reader, but it's exactly the type of device you would need to be a ped slide style device. Craig says Craig is super cool because he seems to be an expert. Yeah. So you don't need printer. Yeah, you don't necessarily need printer. You could use email and SMS for receipt. And what Craig said is that PIN Online, and thanks Craig for your contribution. PIN Online should be in all regions by 2023. We hope, when PCI standards is final. So yeah, that's the question for it. Craig, I will read all your comments with a lot of interest. Vincent or Vincent asked, what is the life expectancy of specific POS models? We are going over L3 certification with P2 terminals. I mean, this is Vincent, just contact me offline if it's about P2 and L3. I'm super happy to answer to your questions about P2. Here we are talking about SoftPOS. Can you select me some questions, Sasha? Sorry, I have so many questions that.
How can you counter the constraint that some cards are not contactless in some countries?
What? Oh, can you counter the constraint that some cards are not contactless? Well, yes, I think that's. I mean, I'm probably having a very European view here. As far as I know, I mean, most of the cards, I mean, as I said, 99% of the cards, I mean, EMV cards today are featuring contactless in Europe. It is possible that in some countries, there's no contactless on the card. Therefore, indeed, SoftPOS does not apply. Alors, is this a complete payment solution, meaning that there is no need to contract any other services from other vendors? Well, you have to contract the payment with the payment solution providers. I mean, again, it's done after that. It is possible that the final solution provider who is selling to the merchant or to the business takes the payment within his offer. But at the end of the day, you still have a contract for payment. That's a good question. Sasha is making the selection of questions. So, and my glasses, I should change my glasses, to be honest. When will SUNMI have a model like the T2S with NFC reader available? I answered to that already. It's going to be T3 beginning of next year. There are new messages. I expect that this is questions. How can SoftPOS solution provider add their SoftPOS apps to SUNMI store? Well, contact our technical support or contact me. I will tell you. We have a very standard and easy process to load applications on our app store. You have to register as a developer, and then once you have registers, add a developer. As a developer, you can post your application on our app store. We will make the review and publish the application within something like 24 hours. Ahmed, does fraud handled the same way using SoftPOS compared to payment devices? Well, I would say yes. I mean, at the end of the day, the fraud management, I mean, it's still going through, from my perspective, it's going through the payment gateway. So it's a payment application, EMV payment application going through a payment gateway. So my answer would be, well, it's not different from, I would say, traditional payment. But to be honest, this would require probably to have a discussion with the SoftPOS payment solution providers. Craig answers, SoftPOS is card present. Yeah, thanks, Craig. You should next time we will do this jointly. You're absolutely right. It's card present. Another question: what would justify a transaction fee be higher for traditional POS versus SoftPOS? Great question. Excellent question. And Craig, by the way, I would have, before I answer to this one, drop me an email. I would like to have a conversation with you, if possible, because I think that there's some stuff to learn from you. Okay, so sorry, I forgot the question. Yeah, I remember now. What is the justification for the transaction fee being higher with SoftPOS? I mean, traditional payments is usually based on standalone applications where you don't have gateway. I mean, there are some solutions implying a gateway, but a lot of traditional payment doesn't use gateway. Which means that when you have a gateway in between the merchant and the acquirer, you have to pay for the gateway. I mean, the gateway has to be run, it has to be developed, it has to be operated. Usually services are associated to the gateway, so you have to pay for this. I would say intermediate stage, which is going through the gateway. So this is why. This gateway is not for free, right? So this is why there is an additional cost. The latest conversations I had with SoftPOS providers is that they are tending to get as close as possible to the payment fee in the traditional payment, but I mean, there is still this gateway to run, and there's still a fee for running this gateway. Okay, so if you have more questions, we need to stop here. If you have more questions, it will be a pleasure to answer to those questions